Let's talk about it. Do I want to? Not really, but we have to. And what am I really talking about right now? Of course, we're still in the trend of personality, but I'm talking about the Myers-Briggs type indicator. The Myers-Briggs is so popular, so we have to talk about it, but we'll get into why I have a disdain for it. No, I'm not actually not a hater, so I'll cut back on the sarcasm. Let's just get into the content. So, what is the Myers Briggs all about? The strengths. They have some strengths, right? The Myers Briggs type indicator is so widely used. You already know about this prior to watching this video, I am sure of. I haven't even been able to touch a soul with this information. Everyone already knows. It's kind of old news a little bit, but it has been taken by over 2.5 million people each year. Okay, and 89 of the Fortune 100 companies use it, so clearly popular. That's one of the strengths. I mean, popularity is cool. I mean, we're getting to talk about personality in the workplace because of this measurement, largely because this measurement is so popular. We're seeing that companies are actually using this measurement and people are taking this measurement. So of course, in an applied setting, this is very, very good and is a big strength for the Myers-Briggs. Another big strength is that we don't see any significant relationships between the Myers-Briggs and any particular demographic. And so why is that important? Well, we don't want to use something in business that has a bias towards or against a certain group of people. And so of course that we don't want bias measures in our hiring process or in our promotion processes. So because the Myers-Briggs type, your outcome, the results are not going to be significantly swayed based on your race or your gender or your class, it makes it even a more beautiful type of scale to use or measurement to use. And also too, when we're doing reliability, like retest reliability specifically, a lot of people end up getting the same results over time. So that type of stability is also very makes this measurement attractive. And so what we have here is we have these 4 different types. So there's only 16 different personality types that you can have with the Myers-Briggs, okay? Across the diaspora, across the globe, with where are we at now? Are we only still at 7.7 billion people in the world? Only? With about 7.7 billion people in this world, all of us fit into only 16 types of personalities. That's why a lot of scholars, scratch their head because we do still want to believe in individuality a bit. And so it really creates a very tight little snug box that we can put ourselves into to know that I am one out of the 16 different personality traits. And so that means there's probably, at least a billion people. Well, maybe not at least. There's at least 300 million people with your same personality around the globe potentially. But let's just get into it. So individuals are either extroverted or introverted, sensing or intuitive, thinking or feeling and perceiving or judging based off of these items that is linked in your Canvas for you to take the survey on it if you haven't done so already. And if you don't have access to Canvas, obviously you can just actually Google it and a free test will come up. And so each of these 4, like I stated, they all have, there's only 60 personality traits. So there's a combination of these 4 categories that create the output of who you are. And it usually comes with a little, header, a little headline of the overview of your personality. And obviously, here's like another visual representation of what this can look like. And honestly, some people really actually dive into this and they're experts in this and they really maybe even got certifications for it if possible. But what we do know about it, regardless of its validity in our field of science, is that it does allow us to put a lot of words to patterns of behavior, which is personality. And so with that, we are definitely grateful for the Myers-Briggs because personality can be so elusive and very ambiguous and very daunting because we're talking about the totality, the sum of who we are. Even putting words to these personality dimensions is just a step in the right direction. So to even think of ourselves as thinkers or feelers is so monumental for us to understand who we are and also be able to kind of make decisions to align who we are with what we do. And so what we do see too is, like I've been hinting at this in prior videos as well, is this idea of person org fit and person job fit, which are two different things. We're talking about the fit with the person and the organization as a whole, their organizational values, their customs, the mission, whereas the person job fit is the actual criteria, the duties, the responsibilities of that job. Does that fit with who you are as a person? So definitely really big different concepts, and will take different measurements and considerations. But we can use personality as a way to understand fit at the organizational level or at the job level. Let's get into the weaknesses as we round off and end our conversation about the Myers-Briggs. Again, take the assessment just to see how you feel about it and how it applies to your interaction with the world and the business world specifically. Yeah, the results are not, the results haven't been proven. And the theory is not really there. What was so beautiful about this scale and this measurement, again, so many strengths. Like the only weakness is that it is not scientifically bound or founded, which, you know, obviously is a big deal, but so many positives that of course it still lives on today. It was created by a mother-daughter duo, and they weren't trained in psychology or test development, but they definitely did, I think, move the needle in personality. And another thing that a lot of our scholars really have a problem with as far as the weakness is that 16 personality categories. Is that's the max. You're not going to be, you're not the 17th personality, you know? So we use these false limited categories to understand the sum of a unique individual. And a lot of scholars in personality, specifically coming from psychology, the field of psychology, would more so argue that personality is on a continuum of like low, high, and the middle range, rather than you're a thinker, you're not a feeler, or you're a feeler, you're not a thinker, you're a sensor. Like instead of just putting those big labels on you, it's more of a continuum. Well, you know, we're just high on this or a little low in this area, etc. Which it doesn't, the Myers-Briggs doesn't really outline itself to be on a continuum, and outlines itself to be a more category-based model. And so that's just a brief overview of the Myers-Briggs. So hopefully you learned at least a little something new about this very old and popular and widely used measurement tool. So let's talk about some more measurement tools. We'll talk about the next one is the Big Five. The Big Five. Have you heard of that one? If not, definitely watch the next video. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.